Hello and welcome to a new series I'm hoping to start up called What Do They Even Do? Where my goal is to be able to introduce a champion to newer players and actually show them what champion abilities do and what to expect when playing against them. Having seen far too many of my own friends quit the game when trying to learn because they had absolutely no idea what was going on and didn't want to watch 15-minute videos on how to play every champion, I thought this would be a pretty helpful tool. So we'll start with Udyr, given that he was just reworked and is probably the most confusing champion in the game currently. So Udyr's new passive actually has two parts to it, the first of which is called Awakened Spirit. Unlike most other champions in the game, Udyr actually doesn't have an ultimate ability on his R. He's instead granted the ability to be able to cast his basic abilities twice when available, empowering their effects. Whenever Udyr casts an ability, it makes all of his other abilities go on a short 1.5 second cooldown, but if you wish to use an awakened ability, the stance you have just gone into will come back up after 0.25 seconds for you to recast and gain the effects. This passive has a 50-second cooldown at base and is reduced to 40, 30 and then 20 at level 6, 11 and 16 respectively. And the second part of his passive is called Monk Training. After casting an ability, Udyr will empower his next two basic attacks, gaining 30% bonus attack speed and refunding 5% of Awakened Spirit's cooldown per hit, and this will last 4 seconds. Udyr's first ability is called Wilding Claw. While in this stance, his first two basic attacks will deal percentage max health damage, and for the next 4 seconds, Udyr will gain bonus attack speed and extra on-hit physical damage. When Udyr has his passive available, he can double cast this ability to gain even further attack speed, and on his next two auto attacks, he will send out Chain Lightning that will attack enemies 6 times. These lightning bolts can hit the same target more than once, and will do so if there are no other targets available. Each lightning strike deals percentage max health damage as magic damage, so if you're an isolated target, the damage will ramp up quite quickly. This ability costs 45 mana and will go down by 1 per level to a minimum of 28, with a cooldown of 6 seconds. Udyr's second ability is Iron Mantle. Udyr will grant himself a small shield scaling with ability power and a small amount of his maximum health based on ability rank, and on the next two basic attacks will have 15% lifesteal applied. And his awakened Iron Mantle will grant him a much larger shield, healing every 0.25 seconds for the next 4 seconds. This heal scaling with ability power and maximum health, along with applying 30% lifesteal on his next two basic attacks. This second shield will stack with the shield from the first cast of this ability, and this healing is reduced to 50% when attacking minions. And similar to Udyr's first ability, this will also cost 45 mana, scaling down to 28 based on his champion level, and will also have a cooldown of 6 seconds. Udyr's third ability is Blazing Stampede. Upon activation, Udyr will become ghosted and be able to move through units, gaining 30 to 50% bonus movement speed, which will decay to an effectiveness of 30% over 1.5 seconds, with the total movement speed lasting 4 seconds. While in this stance, Udyr's first basic attack against a target enemy will have him lunge a very short distance and stun the target for 0.75 seconds. This stun has a unique cooldown for each enemy. This attack is also uncancelable. When awakened, Udyr gains an additional 30 to 40% movement speed based on level, and will become immune to crowd control abilities like stuns for 1.5 seconds. This ability, like the others, will cost 45 mana, scaling down to 28 based on the champion level, and have a cooldown of 6 seconds. Finally, Udyr's last ability is Wingborn Storm. When cast, Udyr will summon a blizzard around himself for 4 seconds, slowing enemies by 15 to 30% based on ability level, and damage them with magic damage every 0.5 seconds they are caught in the storm, minions taking reduced damage. For the next two basic attacks, after it's been cast, if the storm is still active, it will pulse and damage all enemies inside it for 10 to 30 base damage based on champion level and scaling with ability power. Once awakened, Udyr will end his current storm around him and summon a new, much larger one, increasing the damage dealt and slowing for even more, 25 to 40% based on ability rank to be precise. This slow is also increased on jungle monsters by 10%. This storm will now follow the closest visible enemy for its duration, or if Udyr basic attacks another enemy, it will begin to follow them instead. The storm also grants vision of whatever is around it, so if an enemy enters a brush, it will still follow them if it's close enough. This storm also deals a small amount of extra maximum health damage per tick, kick based on champion level, again scaling with ability power. And once more, this will cost 45 mana, scaling down to 28 based on champion level, with a cooldown of 6 seconds. Udyr needs to get onto you to be useful. He can do this through the use of his E and Awakened E, though commonly if his E is down, he will have no method of getting to you. Once in close proximity, he can use the slow from his R to keep you in range and attack you. Stay at a distance and try to scout his cooldowns. He may also have flash, so be aware of the distance he can close with both his E and flash. Udyr is a very unique champion in that he doesn't really have a set build. His kit is designed for you to be creative and play him how you want to play him. Of course, there will be some builds that are better than others, but you can build attack damage and ability power, and both would work quite well. The most common build you would be seeing, at least at the moment, is tank. He will most likely be building tanky items like Sunfire Aegis or Turbo Chem Tank. If you're an immobile champion, pay attention to where Udyr is in a fight, as with Chem Tank, he can and most likely will run you down with his Awakened E. Some combos with Udyr might look like this. Hopefully this has helped you understand the newly reworked Udyr. Look out for him in your future games, or even try him out for yourself. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.